Don't give me a hard time. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. My name is Robyn. I am your sole host for tonight. Unfortunately, Moral and Summer could not make it, but that's okay because I'm here, and what else matters. So I have a little intro. I didn't write it. This amazing writer wrote it. Her name is Christina Campo. I just read this book. It was extremely challenging to read, not because it was like dark or anything. It was just like she used all these words I didn't know, which is really wonderful. I love learning new words. So I'm just going to read a little excerpt from her book. I just really love this. It's about poetry and destiny and growth and stuff like that. Everything we love here at White Noise. Okay. So let me kick it off. Pure poetry is hieroglyphic, decipherable only with the key of destiny. One returns ecstatically year after year to the beauty of ducks, archers, gods with the head of a dog or a bird without suspecting their faithful disposition. How many times have I repeated certain lines or stanzas to myself? O city, I have written your name in the palms of my hands. This day I breathe first, time is come round. Being dead gives us no rest. But around their secret position, until my own destiny gave me the key, I turned blindly, as if around a historiated column in which I could make out only one image at a time, the scribe, the snake, the eye. Hieroglyphic poetry and beauty, inseparable and independent. One senses the justice of a text long before understanding its meaning, thanks to that pure timber we find only in the noblest style, which is in turn born of justice. My mind, transfixed and robbed by my thieving thoughts, that promised me time and did not bide, as in nature, which is beautiful only out of real necessity, so in art, too. Beauty is an outgrowth. It is the inevitable fruit of an ideal necessity. And yeah, she's so incredible. I would highly recommend this book. It's called The Unforgivable. It's literally was just published like the beginning of this month. I'm not really that on top of things. I was sent this book in the mail, so yeah, but it's very good. And yeah, so I just thought that it set a good vibe. I think poetry is super hieroglyphic, and there's so much to read into when you're hearing people's stuff, whether it's actual poetry or whether it's performance or someone just doing a little jest, which we had a lot of last time. I thought that was so wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna stop speaking though. I've had enough of that, and I'm gonna kick off the open mic. I have to look at the names real quick, but I will transition like you've never seen before. Our first performer, open mic presenter of the night is Carl. Welcome to the stage.
Okay, I have to adjust this because I'm big. Oh, it can hear me enough? Well, I project too. I'm loud, big and loud. Hi, I'm Carl. I lost a notebook last week. It's not horrifying to have something be lost. It's horrifying to know that someone out there has access to my unedited thoughts. But I hope they enjoyed them. So I just realized that as I was coming here from work, because I went home really quickly to go find a notebook to find something that I've written, and I couldn't find it, and I was like, oh my god, I think I left it at the last open mic that I went to. So that's unfortunate, but it's fine. It's gonna be great. I have this one that I wrote yesterday morning. It's called Saddlemaker to the Stars Prefers Obscurity. In the morning, I let the cat take the good chair in the sun. The loudest thing about me are the trash metal wind chimes on the back porch, rattling with violent purpose and a desire to immortalize the wind. The more I press myself into the Jarilla Mountains, the more they pull me out by the hand-tanned reins to ogle at a life slouching into decay. A ghost town of a man I am. Brad Pitt said he based a character off of me, lost in the desert, at the edge, blister-worn, burnt, and then pale, oily, again come award season. The highest honor to the best plagiarist of souls and deft character thieves. And despite the gold of it all, they seek me for artful saddles they dream will carry them back to the free range of obscurity. Thank you. And yeah, I don't know who's next, but thanks for having me. I love reading.
Thank you so much, Carl. Always lovely to hear your stuff. Next is, can you believe I forgot it already? This is my brain after 5 p.m. Lucas, I knew that. Next up is Lucas. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, I'm Lucas. I've never been here. It's my first open mic, first time reading. So I brought the poem I'm most proud of. It's a little long, fair warning. So if there's like a limit, let me know. But okay. Okay. It's titled A Violent and Emphatic Reconquering of Rape Culture by Lucas Jackson Paterka. Starving. I am starving and he won't let me out to eat. My arms are pinned down while the two of us bicker about how long I can stand it here, raping myself with the holy rod of failure. Truth is, both of the speakers are me. The man has my face and one voice knows who he is, while the other wants it to be nobody. Wants it so bad we're on our hands and knees, praying it all goes away, praying it's all just some story, made up while drifting off to sleep. Some misery dream to lose my mind to, in the forced silence, everyone seems to have agreed on maintaining. We all lay awake sometimes, don't we? It's all a little bit the same for everyone, isn't it? Because I don't want it to be quiet any longer. Someone needs to be listening. Someone has to be here, or I'll be consumed by the delusion that I belong, to the insanity that I sing my little song, to the insanity that is telling me to go on. Find someone strong enough to feel you scream. Chase the nightmare all the way down into the place you're too scared to go. Except I can't breathe. A weighted blanket of shame and shit rests on my chest, and the smell is overpowering. The strain is just too much to ignore. I am failing. I am falling. The nightmare is not stopping. My freedom continues to walk out on me as I try to put it exactly as it is, and I have to watch every word come out as nonsense. I crack a joke, but it doesn't land. Someone slaps me across the face, but not before everyone has forgotten what they looked like. We're being serious here, Lucas, is what my father is saying, while he continues to talk like I'm not there. Here, I am here, is what I am saying. Fear follows the audacity. Shut the fuck up is what their eyes are saying, while their mouths stay silent except for a friendly smile. Do you want something from me? Must I take off my robe for you, or bare my soul for you? Oh, I see. You want me to keep talking. You need me to keep performing. Tell me, though, how many of these nights does it take to break? There are only so many days one can drag themselves out of the water before you just become okay with drowning. I am not strong for this. Everything you tell me is bullshit. Violent lying done to cover up the crime of apathy. I have not become someone because of what you have put me through. I will not come out the other side of this greater than before. Now I risk giving up every second. Now my bullshit is the crime, and I care less than you can even imagine. No one gets to know what broke me. It would be too hard to make them understand, so I will simply ensure that you can never make the mistake of liking me. My life is supposed to be this hard. This thing belongs in my throat. The devil's directive of becoming would never be followed unless it was being shoved deeper into me. We all end up doing something, don't we? My plan was to disappear in a dormitory bathroom. What could a kid want more than to die, surrounded by cherry blossoms, fallen to the ground from your friends shaking the trees? How about 20 years of endless pain? How about $20 in a stick of deodorant? How about 20 signs you're losing your mind, 20 seconds into the most important weeks of your life? It's so easy to become something, isn't it? Yet, I am still nothing. Nothing except a smoker making it to the 20th cig in the pack, faster and faster each time I open a new one. Nothing except a broken little boy watching his mother plead, fix him, please, to a man who has no idea how to. It hurts to know I've forgotten how to hurt. How disappointed I'd be if the kid in me knew how it gets so much worse. Good thing I cover his ears and turn him away. Tell me your favorite color, I am saying, while he eagerly pulls out the razor blade to show me. But it's been gushing out for years now, drenching my head in blood until my blonde heterosexual hair turns strawberry and curly, growing longer than I ever feared it could, while I pretend none of this means anything. And it doesn't, and I was asking for it anyway. But for some reason, the story still haunts me, terrorizes me, ruthlessly beats me into submission until I can do nothing else but embrace it. I got the call that I needed heart surgery mere minutes after my hike up a mountain. Well, I missed the first call, actually, because I had been hiking up a mountain. Redundancy follows me around like a teasing little sibling, holding ironic twists of divine desire over my head to trick every piece of me into first appearing as a contradiction. But it is all just the disguise for my redundancy, my inability to do anything except tell everyone the same stories over and over again. It took me hearing the story 8 times to understand my little heart isn't strong enough. It's choking itself, the doctors are saying. You have an aneurysm, the MRI is saying. Finally, I am saying, I don't have to make him fight anymore. I lead myself along with memories of what it was like last time. Just 3 more months, I am praying, and we'll be home, back to the place where time doesn't exist, and respect is counted in the screams they managed to prevent. Imminent death turns the microeconomics course into the how to waste my time class, and I practice dissociating before the final exam, scheduled 3 days after the semester ends in an uptown operating room. At least it's open book. Maybe this is why I like it clean. The room is so manicured, its surfaces so sanitized that you can almost forget anything is wrong. I find it easier to pretend nothing is off about me when the walls do all the blending in for you. Let me hide, my personality is begging, while he turns to stone and sticks out of the ground like some ancient monument, drawing in tourists by the mouthful. I can't start crying. Not here, not where they can see me. It's just a story, I am saying. It's just a story. It's just a story. It's just a story that won't let me take its guns away. He's hiding in the alleyway just ahead, but now it's all a memory, and I can't get my legs to quit moving further forward. Keep going, my mind is saying, while he plays the hypocrite and refuses to move on. We're waking up to the dream again. Everything about me is wrong again. Doctors are prodding again, touching whatever they can, holding me down so I don't run away. Why am I still here? I find myself thinking, but the answer is obvious. Deep down, you don't really want to die, kid. They just made you look that way, just carved you into that shape with their scalpels when they cut out that piece of the soul, which thinks about what he's worth or what he deserves before he could claim the life as his own. You were never really alone. They were in there with you the whole time. Friends play the actors in your coma dreams, beating off the horde of spiders with their wretched hopefulness that you somehow make out through the void. How can they still love me? I find myself screaming as loud as I can, still unable to hear the sound of the words as I dive headfirst into the pit where the bugs and shit are festering, and I take a deep breath, and I say, it smells just like home. It's just a story. It's just a story. It's just a story. It's just one fucking story. It's just a goddamn story. Please, please tell me that it's just a story. But it's been an hour, and there are still 10 tubes sticking out of my chest. I can taste the blood on my tongue while looking at it being pumped in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, until the beat of my little heart resembles the sound of a kid saying, "It's just a story, it's just a story, it's just a story, it's just a story where nobody wins at the end." Destined to stupidity, pelted by rocks, someone tried to call a mere emotion. But the fury shatters me quicker than the stones, and the protagonist burns up with an Icarus-like glory, while his family gets to toil endlessly longer. This is all just some grand tragedy, and when the movie is over, we all get to go home. We'll get to talk about which parts we like the best, and what we'd have changed. Except I can't breathe again. Except they've stuffed another tube down my throat, and I can't talk to anyone at all. I speak with my eyes turned towards them and can show nothing in them except all the pain in the world. Nothing except the terrified look one's face has when a gun is being pressed to it. Let me write, I am shrieking. Let me do something. Give me a shot at this, please, while the only sounds I can manage come out as ragged coughs, wrecking my chest worse than any surgery could, pulling at the tube in my throat until I forget what it feels like to have a body. Give him a pen, someone is saying, and I remember what it is like to have a voice as soon as my hand touches down on the surface of planet paper, the words threatening to make some reference to joy, to Toy Story, to the hope I have that this might all be over soon. Let me out, I am wailing, while the nurse shakes her head and points back to the kennel I just escaped from, as if to suggest I had done something wrong by thinking I could decide when to open the door. Make it stop, please, I am writing. It's just a story, I am saying, while I can no longer make myself believe it. A few more hours, they are promising, while lying through their teeth, while coming into the room to milk me just the one more time, while my blood continues to boil over into failed tests and onto all the petri dishes now stained with my failure to get better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Can we please get another round of applause for Lucas? That was so incredible. I mean, really, like for your first open mic, that was extremely impressive. You did not even need to say that. Like, no one would have known. Yeah, that was really awesome. Congrats on presenting. And I love your hat. I freaking want it so bad. Yeah, I don't even know what to say, but you guys already know what I'm thinking. That's why I love you. So next up is John. Welcome to the stage, John.
Hello, everyone. So I have a series of poems from a book I've been working on for a few years now, and I will hopefully be getting published soon. But these all kind of have a similar meaning and kind of through line. So I'll just read them all in order. And they all have names, but they don't really make sense out of context, so I'll just read the poems. Excuse me. I wish this wretched obsession would end, the longing to loose myself from my head, to be myself without a body, and then to see without playing pretend. The thought is that somewhere out there I could see the things that are now not apparent to me, what I should do and how I should be and how to make money and get what I need. So I look to the stars and I beg and I plead, wishing for something out there to believe, some sort of enlightened philosophy which will reveal myself to me. But the preoccupation is what's keeping me from seeing myself with objectivity. In order to know the one reality, I cannot take want, have, or need. To find inner stillness, mind must be silent, watching each thought as it bubbles and rises. Slowly it stills, gently until I am left with no requirement. It seems we humans are built with a flaw we are all hell-bent on fixing. It's an inner disconnection, suspected imperfection, a pure inner reflection that we may never see, a God interconnection that we may never be. But really, it's the deal with ourselves that is flawed, the ideal of fixing the shadow to the wall. What most people cannot believe is even hell is of love. Without silence, sound could not cease. Without violence, there is no peace. Without darkness, there is no light. Without evil, there is no right. Without fear, love would mean naught. Without coldness, nothing is hot. Without forgetting, there is no question. And without hell, there could never be heaven. Hell on earth is reacting to fear, like life is a crumbling wall. Heaven on earth is being right here, no matter what matters befall. We are each existing here, separate from the rest, so we may experience what love represents. The secret golden path is straight, yet twists, like the path of the sand in a melting hourglass, circling its center, recycling the past by burning sand to glass, and recreating new stuff by smashing glass to dust. And thus impermanence, the ever-changing, never-ending presence of the one unchanging self. And last, I tried to kill my ego, but was deafened by its yell, proud of its accomplishments, bragging of its wealth. I am here to hear it moan, coveting another, yearning for perfection and expecting snow in summer. Soul may only seem unsure because ego says so. Truly I am source of all the vast effulgent glow. Ego is the one that dies, made of stuff long past, praying it is good enough to not be sideways cast. Soon my hands will start to shake, my teeth drop from my head, and then I'll know that I am safe and have nothing to dread. For all this stuff I call myself is changing endlessly, while I awake and deepen in the presence patiently. How's that? Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. As usual, so wonderful. Next up is Jolly Joe Jester. Thank you for coming, Joe, and welcome to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I am Jolly Joe Jester, and wanted to apologize to all you real writers, because tonight I'm going to read somebody else's work eventually. But first, let's give a round of applause to all the amazing poets and readers so far. Thank you. Okay, there it is. Just to welcome you all. Thank you. All right. So, Jolly Joe, I also write in my notebook a lot, so I know how hard it is if you lose one. I've been there, and this may bring that up for you. So this is what my notebook looks like. It says Jolly Joe on it. I just got it for my 27th birthday. And thank you. You know, having a good, healthy mind, I think, is so much about having a clean desk or a clean blank page in front of you, like David has here as hosting us here at Greenkill. Give it up for David, guys. Thank you. I mean, you have wires everywhere, you've got your art, but artists sometimes have messy spaces. I can be a sloppy Joe. It's been something that I've had to deal with, especially when you have roommates eventually at New Paltz, of course, in college, living with a couple of people. You find out quick that you have a lot more bric-a-brac than everybody else. Yeah, my house is filled with little trinkets and things that I'm trying to get rid of, trying to shed some letting go onto things. And one of those is this little love note that I actually found on the ground about 10, 15 years ago. So this is something that I've wanted to do since I found it. For some reason, I held on to this thing that somebody wrote to someone else. Probably should never be written, or it's not an invasion of privacy, but maybe a little bit. I'm gonna change any names, gonna change anything, and then I'm gonna throw this freaking piece of paper away. Okay? Right here, I'm gonna shred it up and throw it out. If someone wants to keep it, you can. One man's trash, right? So I found it. It was a rainy day, and it was right there under a fence near a bowling alley. And I went and grabbed, still has a footprint from that day. It's not my writing. I don't know who it is, but I got to get this off my chest so it can never live in my drawer again, because I've learned things that you hold on to, if you can't get rid of them, they own you. You don't own it. So I'm learning. This is probably holding some bad baggage, guys. I'm ready to kill this piece of paper for once and for all. You guys ready to hear the love letter? Yeah? Happy Valentine's month, and sorry for any darkness that comes with this. Let's all say goodbye. The things you do to me are just mean, but the things I do to you are just cruel. We have no fear of hurting each other. We just do it for fun. It's like a game to us, except there is no winner, just two losers. We were once in love, true love, if I say so. Now it's just one person that loves the other, while the other pretends and watches the other person look stupid. There are some days where I don't know what to do. This isn't about you. This isn't about me. You think I'm happy because I don't complain, but really, I'm drowning in my own depression. You think I have nothing to be depressed about? You're wrong. I have my whole life. I no longer know who I am. I'm stuck in a world full of people, and I seem to be the only one alive. The only living boy in New York. I'm lonely, sad, and I don't know life like I used to. Every morning I wake up just waiting to come see you, but every night, as much as I love being with you, I can't wait to leave. Not because I don't like you, but because I don't feel welcomed anymore. Not into your home, but into your heart. We've known each other for some time now, but it's like we don't know a thing about each other. Page 2. My being around isn't helpful. I can see it. I'm not wanted. Everything has changed. Not just our bodies, but our minds. We both think differently now. Our minds wander into curiosity. It's normal. I read your messages one night where you're sleeping. Not a good move, guy. Sorry. Read your messages one night when you were sleeping, and I read how and noticed how you talk to everyone, and I'm starting to cry. Mainly because that's when I knew I really lost you. I'm not going to tell you when I read them, but your password is freedom. Shouldn't give you a little hint. Words cannot explain how much I love you. Actions cannot show how much I love you. Just have to believe that I love you as much as I say I do. Never have I ever wanted to leave you, and I still don't. I'm not doing you any good by being around you. You need time to go live your life. You deserve it. And I don't want you to think about me for 1 second, because you know I'm always all right. I'm not doing this because I'm sad and hate my life like I'm doing it because it's right. Deep down, you know it. We can't keep doing this to each other. It's not fair to me or to you. You, I'm talking to you. Your family or your friends. We need to stay true to ourselves and do what we think isn't possible. You've done this before, so it shouldn't be hard. I love you, blank. I really do. I can't stop crying right now. I just know I'll always be thinking about you. I'll never stop loving you. I'll never stop caring about you. I'm not going anywhere. Once you read this, I want to know what you think. You probably want to call or text me or FaceTime me, but before you do, think of what you're going to say. I want you to call me to say you're sorry or you hate me. I only want you to call me to tell me what you truly feel. This isn't a breakup letter because we were never dating. This is simply a goodbye. I'm sorry for everything. Love, blank. Fight the real enemy. I'm sorry for making a mess. Just like I said in my speech, we will clean up our messes. We will let go of the energy. And thank you so much, guys. I feel 1,000,000 pounds lighter. Have a happy rest of your day, and thank you, Greenkill. You recycle? Put it in all different garbages. I can give everybody one piece. Thank you so much. I'm going to go throw this away.
Thank you so much, Joe. That really was something. I have to say, you know what? It makes me think of so many things. Makes me think of a movie I recently saw called Heaven Knows What. If you know it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you should go watch it, but it's really triggering, so probably don't. 2 makes me think of myself. I probably wrote that letter at some point in my life. I think we all have, maybe. We've all thought it. We've all thunk it. And 3, it makes me think of myself again. I'm always just thinking of myself. And you know what? I think we all hold on to a lot, and not only does it own us, but it's like a huge weight on our back. And what you did, Joe, just right now, I should do for about 100 things in my life as well. Maybe not just little things, maybe other living things. And that's okay. You know, baggage comes in a lot of forms. And period. So I'm up next, by the way. I just putting that out there. Thank you. I need your help, guys. Okay, so I have a reading, right? I made a little reading. I fucking printed it out, whatever. But like deep down inside, I really wanted to read something else to you, but I was afraid my grandma would be on the live stream listening to me read, and I don't want her to be like traumatized. Do you think I should just do it anyway? Yeah. Do you think I should just read it anyway? All right, Grandma, if you're listening, I'm sorry. It's not about you. but maybe it is. I love you, Grandma. Nani, your meatballs are amazing. Not those meatballs, but the other ones. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
She gets equal time, though.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it, guys. Screw it, right? You guys have been unleashing your souls, and I should do the same. This stuff is just, garbage. This is what it's all about, right? Well, I only know that, but I'm telling you it is. Okay, it's called Until I Finish My Smoothie, 35 minutes. He cries when I brush him. There is a knot near his rear, and I try my best to be gentle, but he is only a baby and doesn't know any better. As soon as I'm done, he's playing with his toys again, unfazed by his tantrum, and I, covered in white hair, will always gladly be the recipient. I debate on going into town to do work, but I'm already sitting down with my breakfast at 1:30, and it's too late now. Too late to pick out what to wear, pack my bag, get in my car, and go. Too late to make decisions. I've only just had breakfast, and I'm only a third of the way done, so I think I've already made up my mind. My pre-workout is a quick fuck. I bounce on top until it burns my thighs. I feel a tinge of sweat down my back. Then I wipe off his cum, get dressed, and run, playing some German experimental band. I call it krautrock because it's funny, because I was born to absorb the remnants of my culture, the one I cast aside, the one that's there, hides in the closet with smells of fresh garlic and parsley seeping through the cracks in the door frame. It sits and cowers, rocking back and forth and mumbling to itself. I check in on it every once in a while, and, like magic, it finds a way to look occupied. It'll be writing a tune or composing a concerto, lacing up his shoes even though he never goes out, or if he does it quickly and quietly, sly enough that there's never a trace of the outside world left when he returns. I was feeling despondent rave girl today, dressed the part like a star. Neon pink and black leg warmers and a black tutu, an oversized corn shirt, and a flimsy neon green and navy striped scarf. My hair up all messily like I didn't care. But there's a time and attention put into everything, but like a melody, it's never changing. He's so cute, laying there like that, tired beyond belief because he's a baby. I said that already, but I have to reiterate, he's a baby. A baby. Tiny and maybe a bit crazy, just like his mom, who'd be transported to medieval France in the blink of an eye, only to teleport right back, who'd look you in the eyes and say yes and mean it, who'd look you in the eyes and say yes and not mean it. A cookbook on soup reminds me of lesbians, of platonic love, of celibacy, of consensual sex and polyamory, of orgies and forgies and morgies, of falling asleep in the middle of getting railed from behind, of walking on the beach and coming upon a man and a woman having anal sex. Nearly 2/3 done with breakfast, and still I don't have anything good to say. Let's see. Transmutant zombies invading the Capitol building, Biden torn to shreds in the blink of an eye and nobody tries to help him. Crocodiles flung at opponents in a fight, they look fake. Hey, the crocodiles look fake. Falling asleep on a bed of books and wondering if I dream a story into existence. 2-pound bags of potatoes for $5. They're all different brands. A ring on my pointer finger and one on my big toe. I close my eyes and count to 78, 79, 80 birds flying from a nest at once. Yes, 80 all at once, and most of them just fall straight to the ground. A house plant with dead yellow tips, a conglomerate company, fucking McDonald's, fucking Burger King, fucking Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A. Tired at 2, take some gabapentin to sleep, feed one to my cat for good measure, crocheting myself into a stuffed animal, but I'm the stuffing, did you get it? I'm the one stuffing and being stuffed in the animal. Hiding for warmth, lasagna at 5 a.m., lock the door and throw away the key, finish your goddamn breakfast, you lazy whore, you pious nun, you horseshoe on a homeless man's chest, you pink button, you shit. I've made the thickest smoothie knowneth to man. I only have a few sips left now, only a few more sips. I've collected more memories than you can comprehend, like that one where we went around in a circle and told everyone what we hated about each other, or that one time when I almost lost my lizard inside of a car. It crawled into the open and broken section between the front seats because I was so high on Xanax that I didn't know what was happening. Or, that one time that girl got possessed in my house after hitting my bong, and she was screaming for God, and she was on her knees and going psychotic, screaming at the top of her lungs, Bloody fucking Mary, and all I could do was scratch my head and wonder if I'd have enough time to study for my final exam in the morning. That was a memory. It definitely was. I remember a lot, but I also forget and forgot months of my life, forgot what I was going to write about anyway. Well, there's a conflict in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe and Africa, many parts, and there's also kids dying every other week from cars, from being hit or crashing or something else entirely. Like, how can you know someone died from a hit and run if all you're basing it off of is that their body was found in the woods a few days later? Maybe there are just some things you shouldn't speak into existence, but I finally finished my breakfast. Look at that. I think I'll just save that thought for another time. Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Maybe I'll read this next time. It's all blah, blah, blah. Poetry, all that good stuff. But yes, next up is Invisible Person. I gotta read the name. I'll be right back. I literally knew it, guys. You would never guess. It's Gary. Welcome to the stage, Gary.
Hey, great night. I also lost a book of poetry on the train going down to Grand Central, and didn't realize it till much later. Even went to did you know there was a Grand Central Lost and Found? It's a little room with a million things in it, but my notebook was not one of them. And it was like the best thing I had written. I used to write going down to the city. It was like the best thing I had written with a great finish, and it's gone. All right. This is called, first one, My Dinner with Andre. And maybe some of you know the reference. This could have been called a reunion gone bad. He beckoned me to come back into his circle. I did not know how large his act had grown. And his great big laugh, long an excuse, a cover for self-aggrandizement, has grown so large, I myself couldn't carry it 3 feet, and no one else was volunteering. Under the spell of his mirth, his charming accent, he keeps you off balance with alternating golden, peaceful words and outrageous behaviors that knew now no bounds at all. Leaving him then was like a thrown rock trying to leave the continent. But I did it. I whispered away. And in one way, he didn't notice. And in another, it burned him up. Like a small, coarse thread underneath one's shirt that one struggles to locate and remove. He finally determines to ignore it, yet it torments him. But no worry, he will spin it my fault. Shortcomings are all around him. He needs it that way. All right. Sort of a true story. And this one is called Imbibe the Night. I almost changed everything because everything else was so like soul crushing, but I'm just going to stick with what I have. Imbibe the night. The night asserts its presence once again. It is like the closing of a giant eye, like the settling of the heart of the world. And all the sun had wrought that day, remembered now, like the flutter of eyelash kisses, like the mesmer of rhythmic spreading circles following the plunge of a stone into vernal pools of silence. Orion shines bright within the sky, and it is only at night now that we can see him. though most no longer look up. And reflecting his origins, he hunts now in a sea of stars, he who walked the earth with power and lies now floating above it, like a mirror for us all. His story now muffled and dim, like the most distant of stars, yet still does he glow. Been seeing Orion in the sky a lot lately. And now I'm going to offer is, it's a little practice I do where you take a poem and you find all the words that are particularly powerful and you capitalize them and then you erase everything else. And you wind up with this essence of a poem. So of the poem I just read about Orion, the night, giant eye, heart of world, sun, eyelash kisses, rhythmic spreading, circles, plunge, vernal pools, Orion, sky, origin, sea of stars, earth, power, mirror, night, night. It's cool. You should try it sometime. I have one more called Bullhead. And this poem came about when my wife put this card on my desk of a man with a bull's head. And I said, wow, mythic, mythic. I am 6 feet tall and carry the head of a bull upon my shoulders. I have been with you in painting, sculpture, and vision for as long as your people have memories. Many are my brethren who live in the realm of the imaginal. We take our turn stepping forward to awaken what is lost by the thin, pale image of only human. Yes, the emergence of you hairless ones obscured your animality. My eyes upon a walking body have a haunting glow. You see in me what your consciousness would be if filtered through this brain. Raw aggression, certainty, and the readiness to put down the head. Or perhaps pastoral satisfaction and the filiality of the herd. That and one thing you have been denied, the dexterity of a tail. Well, you do not admit it, but when I break through the veil, you are transfixed and more than a little uncomfortable. Have I stolen some self from your mind's passage? Or have I given you something you have yearned for deeply? Guilty pleasures, power, and horns too. Only those who walk the edge dare to shape-shift their form. People living in places of deep wildness have known this utter mutability of being. But as I stand before you, you receive me with wonder and revulsion. My particular form does not go down easily, and I am not here for that. The winged men floating above and the selkies below will penetrate the veils on another day. But for now, perceive this. Let your stomach churn and your mind creep open, howling, hairy once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I too have been encountering a lot of mythical things in my life recently, like Christian mystics. Been reading a lot of mystics recently. I don't know what that means, but it means something. Next up is Smaro. Welcome to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your beautiful, beautiful work. This is my first time reading anything or sharing my poetry out loud. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I have 2 poems. One is short. This is called No Hibernation. Remember mud-drenched, snow-logged boots bring cold inside? Warm hearthstone, post-day-glow ember, meat, root, vegetable, stew, sack of potatoes. Technicolor love show. Buck, throat, knife, choke, sticky stained, hands, sex, mercy kill. Velvet love steam, wood says home. Carve flesh butcher, use fingernails, blood binds intimate. Turn on you murder first, turn on me, slit stomach, spill poison. Spirit watch play slug fall. Owl live, owl die, pick up soft mistake, suicidal schizophrenic. Does not end, sore throat, 10 eyes, bruised, beaten rape frog. Coals still, read by morning. And this is called Peace Pipes and Olive Branches. One day, our boat crashed into a plastic island. Plastic flowers and trees were festering in the electrical colors, warping by the heat of the sun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Smaro. I have been waiting to hear you read for what feels like forever, so please give another round of applause to her for reading for the first time. That is so incredible. I love when we have a bunch of people who come and read here for the first time. It's like honestly the best feeling as a host to know that like you're experiencing that with someone, and it's like it's really such a powerful thing for both parties. More the latter, but I still feel it too. Yeah, so thank you so much. And next up is Peter. Welcome to the stage, Peter.
Thank you, Robyn. Thank you, Smaro. Thank you, everyone. While people were reading today, and it's been so fun, there's been so many emotions, and then they're subverted by someone, and then they mean something new. And these are just some random notes, just from today, because I'm taking liberties before I read. Who's the author? Who's the character? Where's the assumption? Who's the persona? Who's the character? And who am I when I write? If I write? If I'm the one writing? Why do things have to be so heavy? That's a real question, if you think about it, right? Spoken from someone for whom things can seem and be expressed rather heavily. Oh, this one's important. Despite popular belief, it's not that easy to be a man or a young man. What else did I want to say? Seems today literature in the spoken word seeks to express emotion, blah, blah, blah. How redundant it might be to seek a lot of, to want to be so emotional. The media is rather emotional. That's what the media does. Who wants the emotions? From us, what are emotions and what are we doing here? And yeah, the last little note was about all those lost notebooks. And I wonder about if they're really gone. But here is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 pages. And if you want me to read another piece that's 1, 2, 3, 3.5 pages after that, I will. Either section is from a longer piece of work. These are different chapters from a piece. This would be chapter 10, and you know what? This is 3.5. And that's what I'm gonna read first, chapter 10. It's about life on a farm. It's about the boss man is Anselmo, and he owns the farm. And there's someone named Peony who's living around there, and there's someone named Maurice. And Maurice works for Anselmo, and he's got some time off from work Finally, from farming. On the farm, after the fall slipped in and plunged the weeds in the fields, mute and bare, Maurice went without any buckets or tools on his own time, singing to the creek where he might rest a moment himself, where he could hear the water trickling through the little dam where Anselmo was too unwieldy to approach, where Peony knew to leave him, where the newly arrived bastard couldn't see him, couldn't pretend to care, wouldn't waste his time, his precious, precocious, limited time. The geese to the city overhead he hardly overheard. They permeated the sky. Maurice almost teared. The thought of subservience and the attitude from him it issued, the way he beckoned was beckoned to, like one of Pavlov's stinking dogs drooling, his own immoderate appetite, like a levy against the thoughts that had drifted him there. Hunger, rations, hunger means work, slavery, slaves, hours, clock hands spinning. It was no different in a way, on itinerant though he be. Yet he was owned, splayed between his pay and the partly owned desire to play, with nothing soothing ever left to his pockets. He walked beside the late primrose, the purple loosestrife, the dishes sinking, the water high. Yellow petals sifted through his hand in the pale glow of the afternoon sun. He crossed the makeshift bridge, a few grimy boards over the irrigation ditch, to the little island where the creek joined the beaver's stream. You could follow it if you were on a small raft, or if you were a little mouse on driftwood, up through the property when the water was high. You could sail the slight waterway until you crossed the Black Creek and spewed out into the Hudson. All the way north or south, down past New York, through the Sound, or past the New Jersey shore, the Atlantic, the Carolinas, south, where the sun oppressed you all year. He had loved it once on the docked boat in the Keys where $200 lasted a month. He had quit drinking since then. Maurice sat on the edge of the island where the ditch waters met the creek. There was junk strewn about on the water's edge, against the shrubs and bracket, driftwood, old nails, the makings of what had once been a bridge, large and tight enough to support tractors, horses, machines. There was a chain stuck to a slender pole planted into the mud. There was the water flowing, slowly, through the dam the beavers were making. The water rippled and tossed. The driftwood had caught branches and leaves, and a fish, the tail of a big fish dipping through the water, the sleek wet coat of a beaver. Maurice stood, his foot launched into the water, sucked into the mud, pulled out. The chain pulled and the otter hissed, bore at Maurice his scaly teeth, submerged and remerged, twisted, turned, and spun through the trickling water, the chain-linked clamp to its foot like ragged, rusty jaws. "Hey there now, hey," said Maurice. "I got you," he said, and pulled the chain through the water to him. The otter swiveled and hissed. The water slid over him. He swiveled and hissed. "Whoa now, hey there." Water reached through his socks. The otter spun and hissed. He pulled the chain. The otter dragged through the water. The trap had cut into its webbed feet. Maurice bent down. The trap would take 2 hands to disengage. The otter sliced into his hand with his teeth. Water was rushing over them. Maurice pressed on his hand with the other, the sound of the chain links pulling away, and the otter slipped, still chained, back into the water. Maurice turned and ran. Through the fields back to the house he ran and tripped through the damp dirt. His boots made little sucking sounds and his feet were cold and clammy. The birds in the shrubs and in the weeds flew out their nests as he ran, out of breath, up the hill to the house, past Manuel and Felix, shucking rotten cabbage leaves in a bin. In the basement there were tools, gloves, pliers, a crowbar, and a clamp, if it came to that. The tools were set on shelves without discernible order, like some musty still life watching you gasp at its own immortality, waiting for you to terminate. "You'll outlast me like hell," he thought, as he found the crowbar and clamp. Then he found Anselmo watching him, planted between himself and the basement door. What are you getting into? Anselmo asked. I'm looking for pliers. I can't find pliers, said Maurice. What do you need them for? Maurice pulled out from the tin box a hammer. Someone trapped an otter. Who would have done that? I need to find some pliers. You're bleeding. It's fine. I don't want you going postal on me. I'll clean it when I have time. You need a hand? Maurice stopped. It's chained up at the dam. I've got pliers. Time passes slowly between clouds when you want rain, and it stops to burst for no one waiting, watching. Like some crazy law, they change on you to disregard a habit. I watched them walk together out the house, Maurice almost dancing. Beside the creek, Anselmo pulled at the chain. He'd made it over the boards without issue or complaint. The otter's foot was banded. You want to hold him? He won't stay. With what? Asked Maurice. Maybe your jacket. Anselmo pulled the chain. The otter dragged and hissed. Maurice gave Anselmo his jacket. He flung it over the otter. It squirmed underneath. That's it. That's good. Hold it. Anselmo bent to hold the otter. It slid through the jacket into the stream. The chain taut. He pulled it back to land and dropped it over the jacket. Need its legs, he said. Don't step on it, Maurice said. The otter disappeared into the water again. Who's trapping out here anyway, Maurice said. Looks like Cousin Terrence's traps, Anselmo said. You knew about it? Wasn't sure he'd go after Otterhide. He won't stay put. Go get rope. We'll make a noose and tie him back. Then I'll hold and you can get his legs. Maurice ran, returned to the house, found the rope. Halfway back, stopped. They met in the fields. Maurice held the limp cord. Anselmo held the otter from its feet. Drowned, he said, and walked back to the house. So that's a chapter. Any questions? Yeah, that's why I read it a little bit, because I'm a little ashamed I didn't write anything quote-unquote new. It depends what new means, but I don't know how clear that is. Do you guys know what even happened? Or was I just saying words? Yeah, so one of the guys wanted it to be alive, and the other guy ended up killing it because he actually wanted the hide. Right? And so Maurice is very disappointed. I think that piece finishes rather abruptly, and I might need to work on it. And the other thing Excuse me? Or you could like it abrupt. Or I can what? You might like it abrupt. I might like it abrupt. That's also true. And that might serve the whole. I'm not sure, how it's communicated yet. I need to work on it a little more. The other thing I'd point out about it is, how many times did I say the word little? At least 4. At least 4. It's super non-descriptive. So this next piece is longer and different, and I don't know. I think that's it for today, right? Let's keep them waiting. That's it for today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the evening. Thank you, David. And next up is someone Robyn's going to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. I love that I've been hearing this piece progress over the years. I first heard it when we were presenting our theses together moons ago, which feels crazy. So I think this may be our last performer. I have to double check the list. But next up is Maura. Welcome to the stage, Maura.
Hi, my name is Maura. Nice to meet y'all. This is my first time here at an open mic. I'm very nervous. I have something that I wrote while I was doing laundry on my day off one day at the laundromat. And I find writing to be like a lost love that returns once in a while, and I try to snag it when it comes. So, okay, here we go. I don't have a title for this, so maybe you find one that sounds appropriate. So here it goes. I am 25 years old. I am a woman. I've been in love before, so many times in fact. 1, 2, 3, 10 times. 10 times in the last 10 years. That's like falling in love once every single year. Each time it was all-encompassing, passionate, devastating. And I was so sure each time that it was the last time. Every breakup proved me wrong. Each ending bringing more disappointment, more discouragement. Every day after, my heart is more broken. Another time I become more uncertain. No one tells you just how much work it takes to not fall into the belief that not being lovable or not being enough or even being non-committal. The narrative always rests right in the darkest corners of my mind, waiting for a weak moment, waiting for my guard to be down, to sneak in and to stick their spiny daggers into my amygdala, sending supersonic shocks of emotions through my being and projecting outward like sticky tar spraying out onto all of my things and all of my friends, covering them in my loneliness. And they say they don't feel it and it's not that sticky. Sometimes I believe them, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes my thoughts are just words and they don't mean anything. Sometimes my friends' reassurances are just words and they don't mean anything. It depends on those thorny stabbings and how much they hurt. So I just try to distract myself, keep myself too busy to feel lonely. It does work for the most part, and I actually find that I'm in that darker, pained place less and less often. I feel like I may be okay on my own with my friends and my family. I start to feel lighter and more at ease. The thick, sticky tar thins out and slides off of everything. I start to realize how fun I am and how fun I've always been. I might actually be lovable. I might be enough, and maybe I'm not non-committal. The clouds part to reveal the sun, sending beams of light into my skin, warming me, creating sweat, making me sparkle and shine. I am bright, hopeful, and free. The darkness can't exist in the light. So much light, so bright. My skin is sizzling, burning. Please help me. The sun hurts. I've burnt out. The air is dark and cold. My skin is crackling. I'm wincing and groaning as the throbbing burn travels through my nerves. I've burned too bright. The smoke and embers crackle with my skin. They whisper with a snake's tongue. Told you so. My body feels like crying, but tears won't come. I'm dry as a bone. I pick up my head and see the damage I've done. I've burned every belonging, every bridge, and everybody I love because the hot sun made me explode. My fire engulfed life itself around me, and now, as my prophecy has been told, I am actually truly alone. So how could I ever claim to love when I burn love to ashes every time? When everything I touch is ruined and beyond repair? I've killed it. I killed it. It was me the whole time, the killer of love. I murdered hope. I've ripped apart every beautiful connection I've honed, butchered, slaughtered, slashed the ties that have bound me to each love of my life. I am the grim reaper of love. I end every single beginning. I hold no space for love to blossom. I leave trails of fire and blood in each path I lead. I am ruthless and self-destructive, demon in the human suit of a martyrous victim who won't take no for an answer. I am 27 feet tall and 3,258 pounds heavy, and my screams can be heard a billion light years away. Hear me roar! Thank you.
Thank you, Mora. Can we also get another round of applause for Mora? Literally slayed. Killed it. Killed it. You know, it's really not easy to put yourself out there and to just like open your heart up to a bunch of strangers. And you know, I get nervous every single time I come up on stage, literally. So I commend everyone who comes up here and reads, and you were incredible. Also, gotta add, it's the freaking laundromat. It does something to you. I swear to God, I wrote a whole book, which I hope will be published this year, fingers crossed, and it's called Laundromat Poems. It's about the fucking laundromat, okay? Listen, it's a liminal space. It does something. It brings out the most vile... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's just the laundromat, though. Just blame it on the laundromat. I think that's it though, guys. You know, this open mic was super awesome and special. I feel so honored to be on stage, hosting all night, and you know, also bearing my soul a little bit to you guys and to maybe my grandma. I'm sorry, Grandma. Also, let me add, please, if you heard this, Grandma, do not tell me. I don't want to know. Let's just leave it there. We'll take it to our graves. It's okay. Yeah, I don't really know if I have much else to say except thank you guys for coming out. It was so wonderful. I hope to see all of y'all again. I should be a good host and know when the next time we'll be here is. It's sometime in February. I don't know. It's okay though. Like, just follow us on Instagram. It's White Noise GK on Instagram, and on Facebook it is White Noise, I think. I don't know. I do manage these things. I'm not great. 9/22. Wait, what is that? February 9th and February 22nd. I think that's my cue. So thank you guys again for coming. It has truly been wonderful, and I hope to see literally all of your faces and all of those who have left come back again. And this is White Noise signing off.